What's up, guys? So I'm honored to get to test out the Grind King lockers early. So this is going to be my honest opinion. I've had these for a few days now. I let a lot of my friends ride them and I got a bunch of feedback from different people. Got a lot of good skating in this video, so enjoy. As you can see, we've skated these pretty hard at 3 different skate parks and even in the street. So far, everybody that skated these trucks has really liked them. I think I've sold a few pairs. So this guy skates the same size board as me, same wheelbase, everything, and he really liked them. He said he's probably gonna be on these trucks from now on. This dude usually skates indies, kind of tight, and I had these super loose, just however they came, and he really loved them. He actually skated better on this board than on his own board. He switched back to his own board and was struggling because this board was just so much easier to skate. I feel that sometimes with like 360 flips, I have to have loose trucks, especially if I'm like coming out of a bowl or something. The other day I was coming out of this bowl doing 360 flips, and with loose trucks, they work just fine. And then I tightened my trucks up a little bit. I couldn't land 360 flips. I have to have like a little bit, I have to have loose trucks sometimes for certain tricks. You might want tight trucks for like pressure flips and stuff like that, but other than that, I do like a looser truck. I've been around skaters a long time. I know what you guys are gonna say. You're gonna say, you need to make your own grooves. It's cheating to get trucks that already have grooves in them. I know that because I've made that video where I was using a grinder, jokingly cutting grooves in my board in some trucks that were really old, and you guys freaked out. Skateboarders are really uncomfortable with change, and it scares them, especially when the truck looks kind of different. Personally, I don't really care how my trucks look. People talk about that all the time, but you don't even see your trucks when you're skating. The only thing that matters aesthetically is really your grip tape. That's the only thing you're seeing. That's the only thing anybody else is seeing. Maybe some like ants and like little spiders on the concrete are seeing your trucks and the bottom of your board, but most people just see the grip tape. One thing I really would like to test is impact. You know, I've jumped down some small stuff with them, but I don't really know anybody that jumps down huge sets of stairs like Jaws or something. That would be an interesting test on these because they do have a lot of holes and stuff in them, but I think they're actually designed well, and I think they can withstand impact, but I'm not really sure. I haven't tested that. So whenever I set these up, I drew out where the slappies were sitting because I wanted them to feel like the slappies because that's what I like to skate. So I lined it up and set them in the middle bolt hole. So that middle bolt hole probably aligns more with Thunders and Slappies because Slappies and Thunders kind of sit in the same place. They have that same wheelbase. If you want it to feel more like Indies or Ace, you might move it to that farthest out hole so they'll be pushed in more. If you want them to feel more like Ventures, maybe put them in that first hole and push them out more. At first I kind of thought they felt a lot like Ventures, like the Venture highs, as far as the grinding and the turning. I don't think they feel like Indies or Slappies or Ace. They're not quite as turny as those trucks. They feel more like Thunders or Ventures, in my opinion. People really liked skating my board, but it's not just the trucks. This is a good deck too. I actually might start printing graphics on these and selling this shape. It's really good. I love seeing the look on his face when he was skating those rails. He was super excited. Everybody that stepped on this board was super excited and super happy. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your opinions on these trucks? What do you think about the look? What do you think about the skating that I filmed? So in the next video I do about these trucks, I'm going to actually move the wheelbase in and out because that's a big feature of these trucks that I didn't really mess with in this video. So when you move them all the way in, it's a little hard to tighten them. So this guy got the blue, and I'm glad I got the silver, but he had a good video showing the internal pieces of this truck. I didn't realize they had the stabilizer in there for the kingpin and all these grooves and everything, and that adds a lot. You can also take one of those bushings out and that would give it more kingpin clearance. So I watched Rad Rat's video. He got the blue as well, and it was good to just see him skating on his board. I don't see that a lot. So Judd Heald got a orange base plate with a silver hanger. He also got the solid orange ones. He built our skate park, and I got to skate with Judd recently with Gavin Durson at Woodland Skate Park. So Ricky got the orange ones as well. I don't know if everybody got 825. He wanted an 8-inch truck, and I'd rather have like a 9-inch truck or something like that. If they get a larger size and they want to send me some, I will do another video on them for sure. Alright, so they sent me these images to talk about some of the specifics. The nut portal's really cool. I like that the actual kingpin has concave to it and sits in a little bit. I'm not going to be able to feel that it's saving my deck, but I do like that because I usually put grip tape in there just to make sure my trucks don't move around that much. I'm not somebody that breaks kingpins personally, but I do like the kingpin. It's solid. I like that they stick out more than Thunders for nose slides and tail slides. This guy did a video for them on their main channel. I'd like to see Ben do a video. Please send Ben to grow some. So I got back on my slappy lows yesterday, skated them for a little bit, and I do like how low they are. That's one of my main complaints, is that they're kind of tall. Make these trucks a little bit lower, and I'd like them even more. Of course, a bigger size of these trucks would probably feel amazing in the mini ramp, because they actually felt great in the mini ramp already. So I like that they sent me the silver, because if I had gotten the light blue or the orange, I don't know if I could have gotten everybody to get on board with riding them. You know, if they looked any stranger, because they already kind of look kind of alien, like a spacecraft or something. There's my slappies, and there's the lines I drew out so I could know where to put them. They're a little bit taller than the slappy lows. They're not super tall like Lurpivs or something, but they are a little bit on the taller side. They're taller than Indies, I believe. I put them next to somebody's board who had Indies, and it seemed to be taller. He also had riser pads. So, yeah, this is J-Wall. He tried them out when I first got to the skate park, and he was the first one to really skate them. He kind of grinded off some of the truck. You could see like specks of the truck on the ledge because he front crooked that ledge. We've got all the other guys try him out here. Here we go with J-Wall. He's really good. He usually skates a much shorter board, shorter wheelbase, and a steeper board. So getting used to kind of a flat board that is 875, he immediately got used to it, but you can see he's doing some long grinds. He was the first one to really break him in. Look at that front crook. That's pretty impressive. Got some back feebles. And he was the first one that really tested out how they locked in on the round rail. I just set him up at this point. My favorite thing about the trucks is how they lock in on coping. Now, Matt here is doing the cross-lock 50-50s. You can see he's cross-locking his 50-50s. So when I got on the board, I usually heel lock 50-50s. So we tested it out both ways. The only problem I have is I'd make them turn just a little more. I like kind of a squirrely truck, but I'm sure you could probably do that with the bushing and by moving the wheelbase in a little bit. Now, I had a long wheelbase on this board. This is a 15-inch wheelbase, and it's a 33-inch board, 875. They sent me 825 trucks, which I think is just what they had at the time. If I had a bigger truck, like a 9-inch truck on a larger board, I would probably really like these for the mini ramp. So I let John skate them. John's the only one that really struggled with them. He didn't really like them as much just because he didn't like the board. He usually skates a shorter wheelbase and a steeper board as well. And this is a very mellow board. But everybody else that I let them try really liked them, really liked the board a lot. If you look up Focused and Fitted on Instagram, this guy really loved the setup because it's basically what he rides. He rides the same wheelbase, the same size board, same length. He's a taller guy. He was also skating the same shoes as me, the half cab pros. And he skates the same wheels, everything, and he loved these trucks. He's planning on switching over to these. I think Grind King should sponsor him because he's one of the best rail skaters that we saw in the Dam Am here at this park. So I think it'd be worth it for them to send him some trucks for sure, just to have somebody on that level skating their trucks. He's really good at locking in on round rails, and that's the kind of skater you want skating for a company like this that's innovative, that's making new stuff, especially stuff with grooves in it. I mean, he's perfect. He was made for this truck. He was made for this team. Put him on. So the owner or founder of Grind King has been making trucks basically my whole life. I'm going to make a video skating this board on flat ground, switching the bushings around, because you can just use one bushing, you can use the other bushing, you can put one of the bushings in the little nut prison under the truck, whatever they called it, nut cage. Yeah. And I want to test out all the different wheelbases. I want to move them forward and back. This was a Big Deck Energy's truck. He got this different gray color, which is pretty cool, but I still like the raw better. So yeah, I want to move the wheelbase in and out and mess around with that and see what truck they compare to. I did some blunt to fakies with the Grind Kings. My friend John pushed this mat in front of me and he pulled it out if I landed all four wheels. Your friends should help you learn tricks like this. It's really fun. I mean, I know how to do blunt to fakies, sort of, anyway. You kind of have to know how to do them anyway to be able to do that with the mat. But we were trying to teach everybody to do blunts. John, Kenny, everybody out there trying to work on blunts in the mini ramp at Sprack. I watched Ricky's follow-up video he did with the founder of Grind King, and they talked about the weight being closer to the board rather than farther away from the board, just because of how it's distributed. Maybe it would be better for flip tricks. So I want to do more flip tricks. Personally, I skated them some in the mini ramp, but I didn't get to skate them as much as I'd like to. I let a lot of other people skate them this past weekend, so maybe this weekend I'll continue to let other people skate them, but I'll also try to do more flat ground skating on them myself, maybe some rails, even something like that. I think the U-shaped axle is pretty cool because you're not wearing straight to the axle with these. It's not like it's a pre-worn in truck. You still have the same amount to wear down, and when you wear them to the axle, it's going to be really deep grooves. Maybe it'll lock in better then. Maybe it'll lock in worse. Maybe when it hits the axle, something weird will happen. Not sure exactly what's going to happen with that, but I'd like to see different versions of this, maybe with a little bit less dramatic lockers, maybe some lower versions. I'd like to see a lot of different versions. I want a lower version, but still wider. I know that it's easier to skate a board that has a higher truck when you're on a wider board. I definitely have experienced that myself, but I still kind of like a low truck. It's possible that it might get really bad wheel bite though if it's low on a wide board. But I just feel like the wider the truck is and the lower it is, the easier it is to lock in and the more comfortable you are. I understand that you don't need as much width when you have a lower truck, and you don't need as low a truck when you have a wider board. The more it becomes a square, with high trucks on a low board like a 7.75 with high trucks, it becomes unstable. And the wider that base is, the more stable it becomes. The inside of the truck is pretty cool. Definitely want to mess around with those bushings more. Put just the one hard bushing in there, the other one on the bottom in the nut prison. And yeah, I just want to mess around with that a lot too. So when I watched Ricky's video with the owner on there, he said that they're about the same height as indies, like an indie high, not the indie mids, the normal indies that you're used to, because he really likes indies. And that's what he started skating on. I feel like they're a little taller than indies, personally. But maybe that other guy's wheels were smaller than mine. They're not a low truck. They're not like those old Grind King lows or the Crux lows. You know how the Crux down lows had the inverted kingpin and then the Crux tall had the regular kingpin?
they're kind of a high truck, just not as high as Lurpiv's, but pretty standard. The weight, he dodged the question, so he never answered that question that I know of on that video, so I don't know how much they weigh. The owner did say in that video with Ricky that he was going to make a low version of this, that he's already working on the second version, he's working on a low version, so I'm excited about that. I was pretty specific with the deck that I chose to ride with these. I chose a more mellow board with lower kicks because it was a taller truck than I've been skating lately. I've been skating a little bit steeper board with the slappy lows, so I compensated for that. And it's not a big deal that they were a little bit taller. I can skate them just fine, and they still lock in. I like this locker on the truck because I think I could skate a smaller wheel and still lock in with 50/50. Sometimes I like skating a smaller wheel. I've been skating 56 millimeters for a while, and I used to skate really worn down wheels, like they're like 40 millimeters probably, and I think you could still get away with a really small wheel locking in on coping since it has that little locker there. So you guys understand why you might be better off with a low truck if you're skating like a 775, and you can handle a taller truck if you're skating a 10, because like the whole board is scaled up and even. A taller truck on a 775 just feels uneven. So small boards should have low trucks. I like wide low trucks personally. So the tool that he gave me comes with a bearing press. So I'll talk about that more in the next video I do on these. Kevin here has had a rolled ankle for a while, so he's not skating at his best. He hasn't done flip tricks for a long time, but he felt really comfortable doing those flip tricks on this board because the trucks were a little loose. They gave him a little give. His trucks, when he got back on them, they were stiff and they hurt his ankles. And I think that little give that it gave really helped him feel more comfortable on the board. And they grinded really well on that street ledge outside of the skate park. I know a lot of you guys commented on that, like you're next to a 40,000 square foot skate park and you're skating the curb. Yes, we did. So I decided to go to this wooden park in Georgetown just to try them out on the coping a little bit. It's kind of an older park, probably 20 something years old, but this guy Mike has been messing with it and rebuilding it and stuff. So it's pretty fun. Just really cold, but a nice chill session there. There's no coping on that ramp. So yeah, just not anything impressive, just messing around, playing around there with the trucks. I was able to get the prices though. So the silver ones are $85.99 and the colored ones are $89.99. So I would get the silver because they look better. The raw, I wouldn't mess with the colored ones like the orange and blue unless you're like really different and you're really out there. I'm not trying to shame you guys. You know, everybody's welcome. You know, it's just, to me, I don't know. I guess I'm just stuck in my ways like all skateboarders. I like the regular raw trucks. I like the way they look. I think they look cooler. You know, and I like black grip tape. I don't want like tie-dye grip tape or like the universe on my grip tape. It's just my opinion. I want to know your opinion though. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about these trucks? Do you have some on the way? Are you going to be ordering some on the next drop? They're doing it in like little sections and drop. He's trying to bring this company back. So they were pretty good for this kind of stuff. Little 180s, little Smith stalls. I found some trucks I can't do that on. Like some Ace I struggle with, but Thunders do a good job with this. What I could compare them most to is the Venture Highs. When I did that video about Ventures, they sort of feel like Thunders as well, but they definitely feel like the Venture Highs. My first trucks were Grind King, and my first tray flip was on Grind King. The creeper trucks, the ones that had looked like bat wings or something, those were my first skateboard trucks ever when I was a kid. And then I had some, I think they were actually orange with like weird polka dots or something. My first tray flip was on Grind Kings because I had been skating Thunders and I couldn't tray flip. But then I put those Grind Kings on, and they had a shorter wheelbase at that time, and I landed my first tray flip on Grind Kings. I was pretty young. So this is me and Zach out on Christmas Eve. We just had a little extra time, so we just played around in the street, you know, had fun. I didn't know that little concrete quarter pipe was there. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, we just two guys going out and hanging out and having a good time. I might make another video with some of this footage because Zach almost died. It was a bad situation, but I'll talk about that in another video. We were bombing hills and we were just being dumb and not paying attention. So let me know what you want to see from me in the future. I'm going to do other videos about these trucks. The next video, I want to go into more detail. I want to show more close-ups and just mess with the truck, you know? I want to do some shorts on YouTube and some shorts on Instagram and TikTok. Just kind of taking the truck apart, messing with that, trying out different wheelbases and all that. Here's the hill. That's the hill we messed up on. I appreciate my audience. I appreciate feedback. So I'd like to know what you guys want to see. This truck, there's so many like different options for customization that I can make so many videos and so many little shorts just talking about this truck. People on my Instagram account tend to like those close-up shots and just talking about trucks, messing with trucks. It kind of reminds me of those Death Savers. And when I was doing reviews on those on Instagram, I was getting hundreds of thousands of views on those. So showing that close-up of the truck, messing with it, that does create good content. So mess around with that. This spot is so rough. It feels like you're skating in a gutter or something.
So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, scroll through my channel, check out my other videos, and hit that subscribe button because I got a lot more videos to come. Thanks for watching.